Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to From the Ashes on About Face Media. How's everybody? Oh, hang on. Why is my volume still up on this stupid thing? That's the most unprofessional thing to do in radio, is to leave your cell phone volume up while you're broadcasting. Who does that? Yeah, good Lord. You think I've been doing this for like a week and a half or something? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. It's going to be a hell of a show. Rock, how you doing, bud?
Fantastic. Living life in the great free state of Florida.
You sound so thrilled. Heidi Roswell is here. Thank God it's been too long. Heidi, we are glad you're here. It's going to be a hell of a show. We've got Brad Cummings coming up in just a little while with, I always screw these up when people give me long names, Valor Veterans Law Firm. I'm going to screw that up. I'm going to say it wrong 9 times while he's on the air. So just so you know, I've said it correctly at least once, folks. Did you watch any preseason?
No, I didn't.
No? I thought that was your football jam, man. Come on, what's up? I thought this is what I can count on you for.
I wasn't interested in it this weekend. Sometimes I don't feel it. So
how about them Broncos, huh?
Did they win?
24-0.
Oh. Well,
you know what kind of ass you have to be excited about preseason games? They don't mean shit.
You got to be a Dallas fan.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's why you're always welcome on the show. Comments fan. Like that will get it every time. Dude, are you tracking all this shit going on in the military these days and the VA and whatnot? Are you tracking the Lincoln?
What's that? Yeah, I saw that. That was, I don't know. It really makes me wonder, though, how accurate is it? What do you mean? They really is it really that bad?
Well, no is the short answer. I don't know. I just, is it a reflection of our current times recruiting? And is it really that bad is a great question. Because, I mean, you never want to compare I had it worse. Yes, we get it. Everybody that goes through basic training. Oh, I went through basic training when it was tough. Sure you did, man. It hasn't changed. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
So I talking about deployments and whatnot, I don't like comparing deployments. No. The Navy has different missions than what we do. So I'm not giving that shit.
If you look at tier 1 guys, right, they deploy for a month at a time, but they do twice as much in that month that some people will do for a year.
Yeah.
So it's you got to take it for what it's worth.
I agree completely. And for all I know, you don't know the leadership on that boat.
Yep.
Do you call it a boat? Ship, boat, whatever. We don't know what the leadership's like. For all we know, they're beating them down. We've had that. For all we know, the leadership is making it 10 times worse than what the situation is. So you have no idea. But that's got to be a tough place to be. That's a big boat, man, with a lot of people. So, yeah, 9 months is a long time. I have no idea what a normal length tour is in the Navy. But, yeah, wow. Dude, what was I reading about the VA the other day? So, obviously, we know all about the psilocybin treatments. Now, what were some of the other ones that we were talking about that are popping up at the VA lately? Some of the stuff is going on is just fucking bananas, man. It's insane. Well, and that's why we're having Brad on, because we need some clarity on some of this stuff.
How do I get in these studies? That's my question. I didn't get anything saying, "Hey, do you want to take part in this study?" So, who are they choosing for these studies?
Have you never gotten asked to be enrolled in a study at the VA? Never. Oh, it happens to me all the time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, and so what'll happen is, I'll go in for, I'm just going to make something up here. I'll go in for. To get my medication renewed, or I can't even think of something solid. Knee pain. I go in for knee pain or something like that, okay. And you'll get enrolled. You'll get a letter 2 weeks later. Hey, we're doing this study on old fat bald guys that have 2 knees. Would you like to participate? Sure. I fucking go through all the motions, and every single time when you have a combination of PTSD and a TBI, you get disenrolled. I've never participated in a study, and I've been invited probably 10 times.
Well, then I have something. I have a question.
Hit me.
And, I know people that work for the VA.
A couple, yes, you do.
And I also know a lot of people who work for these claims companies.
Mm-hmm.
So I've asked them the same question, but it's my question is, we talk about how the VA gets it wrong a lot.
Yep.
But what about those times they get it wrong in the wrong way?
They get it wrong and it still goes right, you mean?
No, they get it wrong, but it's in the other way. Not.
Oh, in the veterans' favor.
What's that?
You mean in the veterans' favor?
Yes. How often do you think that happens? So I wonder that. I'm like, you know what? Because I heard a story the other day. Somebody called me and they're like, this dude just got 100%.
Yep.
This individual deployed once. He was with a tier 1 group, but he was not tier 1. He was a support guy.
Yeah.
I know he did nothing, absolutely nothing. He came back. Everything that he has is self-inflicted after the military.
Uh-huh.
So my thing is, like, how is this guy getting 100%? To where it's like, I mean, I'm all about people getting what they deserve. Get what you deserve, 100%.
Yes.
And you know me, you call me,
earned.
You ask me something, I'm like, hey, this is how we do it. This is how you get it. This is yours, go get it. But what did you spent 4 years in the Army? You didn't do anything, yet you got 100% for PTSD. That's all self-inflicted after the fact. Because I know where you were and what you did. It's like, no, bro, this is what your Joe Sergeant yell at you too much, and that gave you PTSD. What I mean, that's so. I was thinking about that after I heard the story. I was like, what about all those times where they get it wrong in the wrong way? You know.
Well, let's take it back a step further. Is that on you and I, having spent a year or two as a recruiter? Did we recruit the wrong candidate?
Well, I mean, that's a whole different conversation right there. But then, so I was having a conversation with another guy, tier 1 guy today, and I was like, hey, and we had this conversation. And then I was talking to another friend, and they were telling me about, they were a tier 1 person, but they got like 60%, 25 plus years in the military, was in the highest levels of tier 1, right? So you got like, he was in Delta and like other things like that. Gets out, and now he's fighting to get 100%. I was like, this dude did a lot of stuff, but because he was a good soldier, a good, leader, and did his job and did it successfully, he never went anywhere. He fixed himself and went back to work. So, but then you have Specialist Snuffy over here who gets that 100% because you hurt my feelings. So that's where I looked at. I was like, do we get it? How often do they get it wrong in the wrong way? Because you hear stories about that all the time, about these guys who have very traumatic events.
Yeah.
And they don't.
That's missing 2 legs and they're rated 60%.
I've got 2 Purple Hearts. Like, I got a buddy in Texas right now. He got 2 Purple Hearts, Sergeant Major, jump accident, who at the end of the day, he was fighting to get 100%. I'm like, bro, this dude got 2 Purple Hearts and you're fighting to get 100%. I was like, that's the craziest thing ever. But I got PTSD because the fob didn't have my kind of rip it. So
I like the orange.
And all they had was the grape, right? It's like they went to the big cans and it messed with my circadian rhythm. I don't know.
What is the right answer, though? And I already know your answer. That's not my question. I already know your answer before I ask this question that's coming up. Do you think veteran compensation through the Department of Veterans Affairs should be equated to rank?
No, 100% no.
I knew that was going to be your answer.
Not be equated.
But you talked about. Go ahead.
However, if I'm an E7, E8, E9, 04, 06, right? I've obviously been in longer. I've had more experiences than that E2, E3 that went to basic, got out, went to his first duty station, goes to mental health because he realizes, hey, I fucked up. I shouldn't have joined the military. And now he's getting booted, but next thing he knows, he gets 100%.
Have you ever heard of Caleb Hammer?
No.
He runs a podcast that does money. Thank you, Joe.
Joe's on it.
He is so fucking good at what he does, man. That is, god damn, he's good at what he does. That was awesome, Joe. Yes, Caleb Hammer runs a podcast on finances. Thank you, Joe. And he has veterans on. And it seems like every time he has a veteran on who's collecting disability, it's someone who did like 6 months, 2 years, and they're getting 100% disability.
Is that the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
I've never really listened to him. I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah.
You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything. It's Jerry Springer for the modern age is all it is. Okay. What do you call it? And yeah, all these people coming through that, and that's why it's getting such a. What time is it? I don't want to miss our guest. That's why this is getting so much attention, and why we're even having this discussion is because there's so many people that, like we talked about, 6 months in, 2 years in, and now they're getting 100% disability. Where, if you're a sergeant first class, if you are an E7 in the United States military and you've done 20 years, you are broken.
Yeah.
Physically broken.
Not to include, what if you were airborne, right? My buddy, the sergeant major, right? We were together in a leg unit, but then he went airborne. He spent the rest of his time leading troops at the 82nd. And I'm like, bro, this dude has multiple, like he was shot in the head at one point. I'm like, dude, you got 2 Purple Hearts. You were shot in the head. You jumped out.
Homeboy's getting 60%.
I think he was 80. They tried to give him 80 when he got out. And he was like, hell no. He's like, I'm not getting out until I fix this. Here we go. So he fought. He didn't, they tell you, hey, just take it and then fight it later on. He was like, hell no, I'm fighting this right off the top. This is some bullshit. And I was like,
that's what I like to hear.
But I'm like, dude, so things like that. But then you have other people, like you said, that private, that, hey, and I got it. The military is not for everybody. You get in and there's some buyer's remorse sometimes. And convince that, many a times you convince that young kid to go to basic or to go to MEPS. And he's at the hotel and you're like, please don't let him leave the hotel, because you knew he wasn't going to make it. And you're like, please don't leave the hotel tonight. I don't want that call in the morning. Why'd the guy leave the hotel at midnight? Like, I don't know. I was in bed. It's so.
Why is the first sergeant calling me at 7 a.m.?
I knew. Listen, I knew if I got a call anytime after like 8 at night, something happened. I'm like, bro, what's up, first sergeant? He'd be like, why you guy not at the hotel anymore? I'm like, I don't know. I'm at home. We'll find him. I'm like, now you're hunting him down like a fugitive. literally running around the city of Denver. I know you're out here running banging
these streets.
On doors. Like, I don't want to bang on this lady's door. It's midnight. So I would call and be like, hey, I called first. I went by his house first. Nobody answered the door. I don't know.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I never went there. I sat at the freaking Wawa.
And it's never the ones you think. It's at least it was for me. Like I had one. I'm like, this kid is going to take over the world. This is the next sergeant major of the Army right here. He got kicked out for getting tattoos in airborne school.
What an idiot.
That's what I said. I'm like, dude, what? He got what did he get? We the People or something like that on his arm in the middle of airborne school. What are you doing? Do you not listen to briefings? Whatever, dude. Doesn't make no matter. In the meantime, Brad has been sitting in the green room now for the last 15 minutes, listening to this absolute train wreck of a conversation going on.
I don't think it's a train wreck. I think it's very vital.
All he wants to do is toss in his 2 cents right now because he's like, these 2 fucking idiots have no idea. But thank God we have an idiot who has an idea. Brad Cummings, welcome to the show.
Thanks, appreciate it. I was listening and cracking up because like we run into the same shit honestly all the time. Like somebody comes in, they apply for benefits, and it's like, really, you were in for 6 months and then you disappeared yourself out of the military. Like, what is the expectation there? So, yeah, I get it. It's I don't like to judge on it. I mean, I've known people who were in for 6 months and they were a shattered wreck, but there's other ones, just like you said, that are working the system a little bit. They see their friends and buddies getting, 50, 60, 70%. And suddenly they're like, yeah, I was broken too. So yeah, I get it. It's definitely, sometimes it's soul crushing, but I mean, it's the job, right?
Well, look, if you fall off an obstacle in basic training and fracture your back, I get it. You're not going to the workforce again. I totally get it. That is not what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That's not even close to what we're talking about.
If you fail to take a PT test your whole Army career for 6 years and you have like 90% because you got some varicose veins, Maybe you should have taken a PT test. You wouldn't have got those damn varicose veins.
As you may have picked up on, Brad, we're a little bitter about a few things around this community here. So, but yeah, in the meantime, welcome to the show. Let's start at the beginning. Brad, our listeners don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners about you, a little bit about yourself. What branch of service were you? Why'd you join? Things like that. Let's set the foundation first.
Yeah, sounds good. So I am Brad Cummings. I am the senior partner over at Valor Veterans Law. We do VA claims, we do discharge upgrades, we even do estate planning. All veteran centric, all focused on veterans. Prior to that, I was the executive director of the Rocky Mountain Veterans Advocacy Project, which is a nonprofit in Denver. Just recently left them in January. Helped found that one back in 2019, 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. Still alive and kicking, still doing their thing, just without me at the head. But I was also, worked as the director of the Veterans Advocacy Project at the Sturm College of Law at the University of Denver. So had my toe dipped into quite a few different legal realms as far as the veteran community is concerned. Prior to that, I was 13 years Air Force. I was in Air Force Office of Special Investigations, which is CID, NCIS, that kind of variety, all the three letters. Did that for quite a while, kind of got bumped around the country, deployed a few times, kind of hit my wall in 2014, went to law school, and then kind of carried forward from there. So that's about me in a nutshell, in general there.
So you were out of the Air Force when you went to law school. Did you get it paid for through VRNE?
I did not, actually. I didn't know shit about VA claims or anything when I got out. I burned my GI Bill out pretty heavily when I was going through that. I was still in the reserves at that point. OSI had all sorts of plans of me, going to Langley, and they're going to have an attorney there. It's going to be this amazing thing, and that just wasn't in the cards. No harm, no foul. We parted on good terms there. But I left the Air Force in 2019, just as I was graduating law school. So,
oh, very nice. Congrats. Good for you. Very good for you. Very well done. Rocky taught me how to use VRE, which is, what is it called now this week? It's got a different name this week.
It's VRNE, I think, right? Still?
That was still VRNE.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Well, it used to be called, like, what do they call it? A job training, and now they call it something different, or I don't know.
It was Voc Rehab. Like it was.
Rehab.
Yes. Voc Rehab.
And then they changed it to Voc Rehab. VRNE is Voc Rehab and I think education or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same name.
Yeah.
Different context. So yeah, excellent organization, whatever, man. But yeah, so I had no idea VRNE existed either until I got out, and my buddy's like, "Hey, you ever heard of this program?" No. Well, hey, they're going to pay you to go get a master's degree. I was very excited. So I was kind of hoping that you got your law degree through VRE. I was going to be very excited for you.
I was going to say one of my other partners, Mike Foley, he used VRNE to get his law degree.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, most of my students, if they're veterans and they're service connected, I'm like, don't burn your GI Bill out. Keep that. Go get VRNE, and then save that for, I don't fucking know. Go get underwater basket weaving, but don't use it for use it for whatever you want. That because you can. VRNE is like hardline focus on get your degree, get in the field, and go. But there's almost all my students who are veterans. I point them in that direction, and most of them get it. So
if you tell them they only need 1 month of GI Bill. So if they're an older individual that has children that they transfer everything but that 1 month. It's like, here you go.
Yeah, it's the golden ticket. That's the way to go.
Well, and most of us don't know these programs even exist, much less people that are in the military. I had never even heard of VRNE before I got out. And then you get out and start using some of these great benefits to get better jobs and to move your way up through the world and do good things and set yourself on a career path. But if you don't have a friend in Florida who's using the program actively, you would have no idea that such a thing, because you don't get briefed on that shit when you exit.
Nope.
Unless you listen to a really shitty radio show on Monday nights, you would have no idea such a thing exists. So, yeah.
No, That was actually one of the bigger things. We've been working on plans to, especially Colorado veterans. I work with the Aurora Chamber of Commerce on, how do we get that kind of information to people going through TAPS, getting out. Like, this is the kind of thing they need to know. And they don't tell you shit. The TAPS, it's got its like heart in the right place. But I think any of us who went through TAPS know that, like, I know I didn't really get much out of it by the time that I left and went to law school. So it was, these are the kind of things that we want to make sure that it gets in the veterans' hands as they're leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree. Yeah, I agree completely, because there was no briefing that says, hey, it was just, hey, here's your GI Bill. Good luck to you. Wait a minute. There's like 6 other programs that I can use to go further my career. But this is not why we have you, Brad. This was just me going off on a tangent. I sincerely apologize. This is what ADD looks like. You may or may not get used to it. But good luck. Hang on for the ride. It's going to be a great show. So Air Force, open up a law firm. Tell us about Valor Veterans Law Firm. I'm going to fuck this up like 6 times, dude. I'm so sorry, man.
It's all good. It was, it's one of those ones where like you get like Valor Law, Veterans, Valor.
Yeah.
Things like that. So yeah, that's what I emailed you earlier. I'm like, oh, please don't do that. They're like a shark on the East Coast. We opened it up as a, segue in. Both myself, Mike Foley, who's one of the partners, and Brett Bailey, who is the other partner. We all ended up leaving the RMVAP together, and we set this one up. In my particular sense, I was a bit burned out on, kind of holding things together by skin of teeth, because that's the nonprofit world. But when we ended up moving into this realm, we wanted to kind of focus on not only the VA appeal side of the house, but I wanted to carry with me some of the things that I always found were important, like the discharge upgrades. We always, you can throw a rock and hit a veteran who knew somebody who deployed, came back, got PTSD, had some kind of shit happen to them when they got back, like, misconduct of some sort, and got booted. So those are the kind of cases that I like to take on to try and get them upgraded to the point where they are able to, kind of reclaim their lives. Same thing for estate planning. There is a lot of stuff that is available for veterans specifically when it comes to estate planning. Everybody's got to do a will at some point. It's not the one that you do when you're leaving or you're going on a deployment. That shit, I still had mine when, I opened up the firm. That's just, it's the one you have, right? So we end up doing some of the estate planning portions of that. VA appeals, we do the whole gambit. We go all the way from, the basics. So we do initial claims as well. One of the bigger reasons why I think initial claims are kind of important is VSOs are drowning. They are always just, there is so much work to be done, and it's hard to keep up with all the influx of people. And I really think that there's a carve out for attorneys to help with that, help the veteran community get through that first step. If you can get it right the first time, you don't have to worry about the rest of the shit. And an attorney doing it, largely we can catch the things just from experience that's going to end up being an appeal later on. If I can get it done right the first time, you don't have to go through that. So that was one of the bigger things that we kind of focused on. But otherwise, the only, bigger thing that separates us in a lot of ways from, VSOs and some of that realm is we work at the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. So I go all the way up. It's not just the Board of Veterans Appeals, which is the kind of highest level you go at. And if I'm sounding like a teacher here, sorry, guys.
No. This is important information. Keep going. I'm writing questions as you go. So keep talking.
Sure. Okay. So Board of Veterans Appeals is the highest you go in the agency. So, you lose at the lower levels in the VA, you have to appeal it to the board. That's just kind of the next step. Those guys are all attorneys. Every single one of those, they call them veterans law judges, VLJs, they're all attorneys. So they got put in as administrative law judges. So they're looking for law. They're not necessarily looking for facts, and, those are important, obviously, but they're also looking at the arguments. They're trying to see, okay, why is this important? What are you linking? How are you doing these nexus type things? And if you lose there, then you go to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, which is literally you have to be an attorney to go to it. You can't be a VSO and go to the court. So if you end up getting to the point where you've lost at all the levels in the agency, that's the next step. And that's what we do. So
I love our listeners. The next mission. What an outstanding question. How perfect. Is this one of your people? Is this a plant? Because this is really a good question.
But that's smarter than we would have ever asked you. I'm just
we were not, man. I was going to ask why your favorite color is blue, but I like the next mission's question.
It's dependent. I like to say when it comes to law that is passed at the court or that comes down from those particular areas, the VA looks at it initially as it's not a firm we must implement immediately, but they kind of look at it as like, let's just keep running it until they call us out. That is just the nature of the beast. Not just necessarily that one, but there's I'm sure you guys have heard about Ingram, where they were talking about whether or not medications, if you're using medications, whether or not that'll lower they're on medications, so they must be better. No, fuck that. That's not the way it works. Like if you have PTSD and you're using medications and you suddenly can't get your prescription, are you going to be still healed at the end of that? No, you're fucking not. So that's the thing that, those are the kind of things that get me. But the VA regional offices kind of look at it as we should comply, but it's not required. If that makes any sense. That's kind of the hot take I have for a lot of that process.
It does, but a lot of our listeners might not have context as to exactly what we're talking about. Can you give a little bit of color as to what that case is and why it matters to veterans right now?
Let me pull it up real quick because it's been a hot minute since I've looked at that.
He's doing research while on the show. This is almost like a musician playing a song while they're on the show. This is cool as hell. He's doing lawyer shit while he's live on the radio. That's good stuff.
So this is all stuff that requires, I don't know how familiar everyone is with SMC, special monthly compensation. It's the way that you go. I think of a good way to put this. So let's just say, like, I'll give you one of my kind of client backgrounds as an example. Okay. Say you have Parkinson's and you have the inability to function at certain levels, right? So what it does is it grants you money on top of the 100% level so that you can get, function. Quite literally, a lot of the time, this will allow them. It goes up to I think it's R1, which is.
But that doesn't come from the VA, right? This comes from your service. Like this comes from either the Army, Navy, or Marines.
No,
wrong?
So that's a different thing altogether. So you're talking about like combat pay or concurrent retirement pay, things like that.
You are correct.
Those are two separate things. So one is DOD.
He's talking about the ED. If you have ED, you get extra money. If it doesn't work, you get extra money.
Yeah, that is 100% what it is. I talk about, I didn't want to go all the way down that road, but yeah, ED definitely is one of them. You can't get service connected for ED, but you can get SMC for it. So what they'll do is they'll service connect you at 0%, right? And say that it's a non-compensable thing, but because you have, impacts your ability to have kids, whatever, for the erectile dysfunction, then you will end up getting, I think it's like $178 a month, something like that. It's the lowest tier that you can go. So that is, I think it's S1. I can't even remember what it is.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So what this does is, and no, I am not seeing it applied in this way. Basically, what this particular one is, if I remember how it runs, is for each issue you have, you are supposed to get a separate SMC if it qualifies. So you're talking about ED, right? And then let's talk about housebound status. So like if you are 100% permanent and total, or you're 100% in one, there's a whole math thing that goes with it. But it's basically if you're like 70 or 100% in one and you're over 40% and another or over 60%, you automatically get housebound status. status. And when that ends up happening, they give you SMC for housebound status. And then if you have ED on top of that, you actually are supposed to get both. Depending on what the level is, this is where I see issues. If it's low level, right? Like housebound status for the VA is minimal. They don't really care. They hand that out like candy if you get like a certain point. Same thing, honestly, for ED. They don't mind handing those ones. It's when you start getting to the point where you're collecting in the M's and the R's and the, high end things where you're suddenly going from $4,000 plus per month to $8,000 per month. Suddenly they're like, oh, I don't know. That was also, it's only one SMC. It's like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to work. And that's, like I like to call it on a regular basis, that's just VA fuckery. Like they do that on a regular basis. The long answer is I am seeing it in cases where it's lower level conditions being applied correctly. Where I'm not seeing it applied correctly is when you get up into the really high classifications, like the case I was talking about with Parkinson's. Technically, there's supposed to be ED, there's supposed to be housebound status, aid and attendance, all of those types of things that tag into like an SMTC type status. And the VA either doesn't know how to apply it properly, which honestly could be the case. I mean, you're talking about guys who are raters who, not to give them a lot of credit, but they have 15 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes tops to go through these cases. So they don't have a lot of time to properly evaluate, especially in the current environment. So they hand out the wrong things and then you just have to appeal it. So unfortunately, that's, the landscape right now with that. I see it staying static. I don't see them fixing that problem anytime in the near future. But their focus right now is run through cases. We want all this backlog down. We don't want to hear about how there's all these pending cases that we need to get through. So they are burning through them. Are they issuing good decisions? No. They're issuing shit decisions, but it is, kind of the way it is. Want me to pop on to the next question there? Or?
No, I got a question.
Yeah.
Good.
Homebound, can you work?
Yes, absolutely. It is, that's the one that I talk about all the time is if you're housebound status, like say you're 100%, right? And you're getting those types of things, it's a largely dependent issue. So let's say you work from home, right? And you are able to do that, but you're housebound still. So are you still housebound? Yes, you are. Or if it is, I say this all the time for people who have, it's called TDIU. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about that before. So
it's going to be one of the questions I was going to ask you, but keep going.
Yeah. So total disability, individual unemployability, right? That is something where I have to tell people, they're like, well, I can't work. And I'm like, you can work. You just have to stay. I always tell them, like, stay below the poverty level. If you stay below the poverty level, that tags into whatever you're making. So, you have to think about they're at 100% status, depending on, dependents. So they're effectively making anywhere, because it's tax free, right? So if you look at it, if that was taxes, you're actually making like 65,000 a year. Then you end up tagging in the stuff that's below that, you're 14, I think it is 15, somewhere in that neighborhood is the kind of poverty line on there. Suddenly you're making like 80 grand. That's not bad. If you want to go do a part-time job where you stay below, 15, 20 hours a week, do it. Just be careful. That's the, my big caveat to people is be very careful with what you're doing. If you're loudly proclaiming that you are, a whatever
an athletic coach,
right? Like those are the kind of things that the VA will tag into and they will find out. It's not one of those ones where, you can continue to hide it, particularly TDIU. They will check it. They will check it on a regular basis.
We do normally we do a segment on the show called Combat Carl, and it's all like stupid things people have been doing around the military. And at least 10 Combat Carls have been, hey, this person was getting 100% disability and then decided to go into a weightlifting competition or a bodybuilding competition.
Yep.
We hear it all the time. All the time.
And I mean, I don't want to.
Normally we do a segment on the show called Combat Carl, and it's all like stupid things people have been doing around the military. And at least 10 Combat Carls have. What just happened?
I don't know.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Do I really sound that sexy? Holy fuck! What have I been doing with my life?
Right.
I had no idea. That was awesome. What do you call it? One of the number one things we get calls for on this show is discharge upgrades. All the time I get phone calls. Hey, I did, 5 years. I was a sergeant. I have 3 deployments under my belt. I come back, PTSD, TBI. I get drunk. I get a DUI. I'm kicked out of the military. I now have a less than honorable discharge, and I'm not eligible for VA veteran benefits. Talk us through this, Brad, because we've got a lot of listeners right now who are tuned in for just this answer.
That just tells the quality of our listener right there.
Is what it is, right? Discharge upgrades are, there's a lot to unpack on those. One of the bigger things that I always find with, not always, but a lot of the people who apply are just in exactly the same role that you just mentioned. Like, they were in for almost 20 years. They get, kicked out at the very end. They think that they don't have, because they got an OTH and they suddenly don't have VA benefits. That's actually not true. I always want to tell this to people who are unsure about what's happening. If you have honorable periods of service, you can get VA benefits, and that's compensation, that is healthcare, that is everything, right?
I'm going to pause you. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we are briefed when a veteran calls and says dishonorable discharge. Hey, sorry, we can't help you anymore. Please continue.
Yeah, no, they are wrong. That is something that we run into on a regular basis. It's called, so if you have concurrent, all of us who are in for a while, right? Like, you re-enlist before your contract's up and you continue, right? Like, that's just the way it is. Usually it's because you're getting a bonus. But in those particular realms, that's called concurrent re-enlistment, meaning that your first period, as long as you get out of it, that's honorable. Even though you've continued on and you only get 1 D214, that first period is still honorable. So say you fuck up the second round, right? So you get into your second one in your enlistment, you're, a year, 2 years in, and suddenly you get something, and it doesn't even matter if it is dishonorable. Okay. Dishonorable is a bar. That's a hard bar for that period of service. There's no overcoming that. Again, there's a lot to unpack. But if you did that first period, anything that happened to you, if you got PTSD in there, if you deployed and came back with, migraines, if you went downrange and you had, something that was Gulf War related, right? All of that shit is service connectable and you can get compensated for it. That is the law. So if you do have those, anyone listening, if you have that issue, you can get VA benefits. You can also, let's say you got an OTH, right? And it was a one-time drug use where you smoked marijuana, your second enlistment. That's like everybody, right? Like, that's just the way it works. Anyone who got kicked out for that, particularly the Marines will drop the hammer as an OTH like that. But they will, if that ends up happening, that's actually not a bar to benefits. So you can go, and they call it a character of discharge determination. And they will look at it and say, okay, in this process, you have good, you won't, that's your only thing, right? They have to look for something that shows like a pattern of misconduct or gross, issues like felony level problems. But if it was a one-time drug use, 10 out of 10 times I can win that. And that will get you your VA benefits for that entire period of service for as long as you were in.
Now that you have just said that, can you please give out your contact information on air so some of the people that call us can call you directly?
Yeah, absolutely. So easiest way to get a hold of us is going to go to valorveteranslaw.com. That's our website. It has the contact information there. Otherwise, our main line, if I can remember it, 720-386-1882. So feel free to give that number a call. One of my paralegals will pick up on it. But we 100% do that. And that's, we have our kind of services broken up a little bit. This is kind of my jam. So this is my realm. I work on discharge upgrades, estate planning, and obviously VA benefits. But that's what I used to teach in school. That's what, the RMVAP was focused on. And that's what I continue to do at Valor. So
I'm guessing your phone is ringing right next to you as you're speaking.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually literally muted it because I was like, shit, something's going to go wrong if that ends up happening. But yeah, we are, one of the only games in town that does discharge upgrades. It is most attorneys, they don't do it because, in all honesty, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it right. And they, for the charge on there, it's just not worth it to them. So they don't touch it. And, to each their own. But, when you've been doing it as long as I have, this is an eye blink for me. I'm happy to work on these because it's really not that big of a deal.
We get constant calls all the time just because of our generation, because, we have so many guys before PTSD was recognized, before TBI was recognized, that went with, deployed, come back, get a DUI, and now they're gone. And those were some of the best soldiers you ever worked with.
Yeah.
But, never given a chance. Why estate planning? Why do I give a shit about estate planning? I have a will. The Army wrote me a will. Why do I give a fuck anymore?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Mike asks me that all the time. Yeah, it's it was kind of a section that we carried over from the RMVAP because we encountered it on a pretty regular basis. And in all honesty, this kind of tags into the other thing for, any cops listening out there. We work with Fraternal Order of Police. We have a kind of a contract with the Colorado one. So 30% of veterans end up in, the cops, like, in general. So law enforcement is just a landing spot. But we work with them. We have do a lot of work there. And one of the things we do, which we carried over, which is why estate planning continued, was we do wills for FOP. So, all the cops who are coming in who are veterans, FOP pays for it. They're like, yeah, we need you to have a will for obvious fucking reasons. Same thing that you get when you're in the military. But also, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know this, but even if you have a will, you're going through probate. And that's one of those ones where you don't get out of it. Even though it might be a very simple will, you're leaving all your, belongings to one person. You're going to go to the courts and they're going to go through probate. And it may take anywhere from 3 months to 6 months to 9 months to a year before that gets handed out, because people come out of the woodworks. They end up talking about, like, rando, one night stand who had a kid who, like, wants some part of, the will. That happens regularly. And if you do a trust, it doesn't go to probate and no one else can fight it. So if you have a trust done, all of your assets get sunk into that and you don't have to go through the bullshit that everybody else does at the end of the day. So I always recommend doing a trust, just because the fact that it saves, it's not going to bother you, but, like, everyone else who's left behind won't have to go through the hassle of going through probate.
Dude, I'm a retired E7. I've got a house, a shitty old motorcycle, and a piece of shit truck. Why do I need a trust? Really? Isn't that expensive?
It can be. If it's a simple trust, it's really not that bad. But if it's we've got clients who come in here who have shit tons of assets in different states and, all those types of things. Yeah, you want a trust. If you're content with that going through the process and whoever you're leaving it to is like, yeah, I don't care. I do a will. It's not that big of a deal. We do those too. But the other pieces of it besides just the simple will is we do, the medical power of attorneys. We do all the other things. So, like, say you get on life support and you don't know what's, going on, and it does vary state to state. Yes, for sure. But the, do you, at the end of the day, do you want to be kept on life support until someone says you're brain dead? That could take months and it'll take all of your assets. You will have nothing left. So you won't have anything to give. And because
just telling your wife to smother you with a pillow is not sufficient.
Yeah, I mean,
I depends on how much they've pissed me off, whether I want
to. Which is fair.
My wife is under clear orders. As soon as they turn their back, smother me like a fucking burrito.
Now, Brad, do you guys only work with people in Colorado, or do you work with people all over?
So VA stuff and discharge upgrades everywhere. That's federal. So I can work on any of those claims, nationwide, even overseas. We get a lot of overseas vets who, go to Thailand, they go to Guam, they go to wherever, right? So we get a lot of overseas vets as well. But yeah, as long as it's VA and discharge upgrades, anything goes. Estate planning has to be Colorado specific because it's tied specifically to the state.
Passport bros, Joe.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm disappointed that Allie couldn't be here tonight because you guys would have had one hell of a conversation tonight.
He missed the bum fight stories.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Dude, if you miss, you'll have to tune in when we have Allie back on so you can talk about how she beats up homeless people. No, wait, I said that wrong.
No, you said it absolutely correct.
It's not as much fun making fun of her when she's not here. It's more fun when she's here. But yeah, you guys would have had a great conversation. So, and I appreciate all of the excellent information you've put out this evening. If you've had a chance to listen to the show, you've probably heard once or twice. We do a couple different things with our guests around here. One, we do he's already nodding here because he already knows. Yep, we do our safety brief, and I'm going to send you out on your way. So we may have missed a question. We may have missed an opportunity. We may have skipped over something that you wanted to talk about or something that you wanted to dive in a little bit further. We give every guest 2 minutes at the end of their interview to say whatever the hell they want to say, and it can even be to the next mission, who I'm glad they're tuned in tonight. So yeah, take the next 2 minutes. The floor is all yours. Rocky and I are going to shut up. We're probably not, but the spotlight is yours, man.
Cool. I think probably one of the biggest things that I can tell people, obviously, I already gave you the contact information. Rob threw it up on the screen. It's not a big deal. You can find us. One of the bigger things that I like to tell veterans specifically is don't turn a blind eye to everything that's happening around you. It's one of those specifically when it comes to the VA claims side of the house where I get a lot of people who are blinded. They come in, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what has changed since they filed claims. The other part of it is do not give up the first time the fucking VA tells you no, okay? Under no circumstances should you just be like, oh, they did the right thing. No, they fucking didn't. They are 95% of the time, they are button pushers and they don't read the things. I used to have, this is a little quick short story. I had a VA guy come in and he was talking about how they grant claims. And he's like, yeah, you put in 12 claims and we grant 6 of them. That's fair, right? No, it's fucking not. If you got all 12 of them, you deserve all 12. But that's the thinking, guys. That's the mentality that goes through in these VA sessions. And that's how they're trained. So when you get those decisions, don't automatically think that they went through the records and they did the right thing. I can virtually guarantee you after doing literally thousands of these things that they did not do it right about 95% of the time.
As you're saying that, I'm watching thumbs and heart emojis go up over our social media. So please continue.
Yeah, for sure. That really wraps up my big pieces. Keep paying attention to the news. That's the other one too. Like they're talking about, they're not doing it now, but they were talking about taking away sleep apnea and tinnitus, and using it to fund what I think are valuable things, but you shouldn't be shortchanging veterans for the sake of helping other veterans. At least that's my philosophy, right? There's other ways for them to make money. It takes, don't build one F-35. There's all sorts of ways that they could, make up that shortfall. So, I think that kind of wraps up my piece.
I missed the contact info for the discharge upgrade, and that's from a listener that needs it. Would you mind giving it one more time, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's valorveteranslaw.com, all one word or .com. And then phone number is 720-386-1882. And, reach out. We'll evaluate everything for free for you. So there's no costs involved with that. I'll tell you, I will not bullshit you. If I think that it is something that you can win, I will tell you. If it is something that I think you can't win, I will also tell you that. Veteran to veteran, I'm not going to lie to your face because, it serves some sort of underlying purpose. 100% reach out.
the last thing that we do with our guests before we kick them to the curb, take that hint, by the way, what do you call it, is the safety brief. So every Friday, got to stand up, safety brief. Commander's got to talk to you. Don't drink and drive. Wrap that rascal. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. What do you have for our listeners for the safety brief? Keeping in mind that it's only Monday, and this has got to make it all the way to Friday. So what do you got?
Just because it's legal in Colorado doesn't mean it's legal federally. Do not go out and smoke pot.
I wanted to ask you about weed too. Damn it, but we're so far in. Fuck. I always run out of time. I always have these great questions for these interviews, and then I always run out of time because I spend so much time bullshit and flirting. Whatever, man. Fuck it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Brad Cummings with Valor Veterans Law Group out of Colorado. If you need help with a discharge upgrade, estate planning, if you need help with your appeal for your VA process, give Brad a call. They'd be happy to have you. I have friends who I spent my day with today who have had nothing but help and great things to say about Valor Veterans Law. You're doing good things for good people, and I really appreciate what you're doing, Brad. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Have a great rest of your evening, and you're welcome anytime on From the Ashes. Thanks for being here, man.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Have a great night. What do you think, Rock?
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Are you out of gas already?
No, why?
You sounded a little tired right there for a second. I got worried about you. All right, we got to do two things. What do you want to do first? You want to do Combat Carl first? Or you want to do Never Forgotten first? I want to end on a good note, so let's do.
We'll do Never Forgotten first.
All right. Let's do that. All right. Let me still my nerves here. Get this one ready. All right, here we go. Never Forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep doing these. These are going to keep coming from our friends at the Hunters 7 Foundation. CW4 Mike Harris was an extraordinary father, a devoted husband, a humble warrior, and a true American hero. Mike gave more of half of his life in service to this nation, and somehow he did it with a smile. Over more than 25 years in uniform, he served first as a combat engineer, then later as an elite attack and gunship pilot, deploying 8 times to combat zones across the globe. In December 21st, during a routine flight physical, abnormal blood cell counts raised concern. Mike had mentioned feeling tired and nothing more. Weeks later, he was diagnosed with acute leukemia. True to who he was, Mike faced the diagnosis with like a warrior had always been. He had never backed down. He never quit. He fought every single day with a smile on his face. After Mike's passing in 2022, they're talking about the Hunter 7 Foundation right now. Our medical team connected with his leukemia and chronic exposure to benzene, a toxic compound found in aviation exhaust, jet fuel, and military-grade smoke and soot. Research has shown that these exposures can significantly increase the risk of myeloid-like leukemia. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight when you sit down with your family and you say your prayers and you put your hands together, please remember Chief Warrant Officer 4 Michael Harris, not just Chief Harris, but as well as his family and those around him who miss him, as well as our nation. Roy Gagney, glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in, bud. So yeah, now that the sad shit's out of the way, CW4, Michael Harris, we're gonna miss you. Let's do some Combat Carl and talk some shit on people. 8 years after public location data used on the fitness app Strava, U.S. troop locations and maps of bases, hundreds of service members in the Middle East are still sharing their information. Rock, we're still giving away. Everybody's got a fucking Apple Watch, and we're still giving away what our perimeters look like, what our fucking, where everything is, where you live, where you sleep while you're deployed. Have we learned nothing?
I mean, let me ask you this, though. As dumb as this was, and I was like, we are idiots. Do we not think that the enemy does not know where we are?
I mean, of course they know where we are, but, well, theoretically, we know where they know.
Listen, that's my thing is you cannot tell me we don't go in there like some quiet people. No, you ride in with all these big ass trucks, big ass planes, helicopters, whatever, and you set up camp. So no, I don't think it's that bad just for that reason. It's like they knew you were here. What are you doing? Just telling them where you run? Unless you run the same exact time at 8 o'clock in the morning every single day, then you're an idiot.
Well, if you run, you're an idiot, but that's a whole nother conversation. Well, didn't we talk about a couple of weeks ago where the Navy SEALs were in like Venezuela or some shit, and they've all look exactly the same? They've got like their fucking Patagonia shirt on, their fanny pack and whatnot. So yeah, you're exactly right. Everybody knows we're there.
It's the whole like, when you go out of let me go to England and wear my American flag T-shirt, right? Or my grunt style T-shirt.
Exactly. It is so true, dude. It is so it is the truest thing. Look, they used to issue you watches. They used to issue, it was literally a thing. Oh, it's an Army issue watch. All it was a stupid little dials. Yeah. Just start issuing like a $6 watch again, and you won't have this problem.
With the little green band.
Yeah. See, you remember.
Well, even later on in life, what was the Casio G-Shocks that we used to, that the supply guy used to get?
Yeah. Yeah. So, start hitting watches out again. And, it fixes the problem. What is that, like a $35 watch?
Yeah. Google Maps tells us everything. I can tell you where everybody is. Google Maps. Hey, look. It's like, okay, whatever.
Our listener Tracy says, don't forget the flip-flops. Ladies and gentlemen, support those that support us. Go to Combat Flip-Flops, enter the code About Face in all caps, and you are going to get 30% off your order. We're going to get 15% of that, and that's going to allow us to keep Rocky on the air because he's very expensive. Go to Thigh Huggers. We love our friends at Thigh Huggers. Enter the code ONESHOT. We need to get that code changed, by the way, in all caps. And you'll get 30% off your order. We're going to get 15% of that. No, you don't have to get the Pokemon ones, but you can if you want to and want to wear the same thing Rocky does.
If you want to catch them all, you do.
This is why our sponsors love you.
How cool if everyone who played Pokemon Go wore Thigh Huggers and walked around all day. Would that not be the coolest?
I agree completely. Hey, where'd you get those shorts? Oh, I heard about them on From the Ashes radio. Well, hell yeah, you did.
Now I'm playing Pokemon Go, wearing my Pokemon shorts.
So one of our regular listeners, or one of our people that helped us start this program, says that we need to start going out on the road, Rocky. She wants us to go like meet veterans in places.
I'm down. Let's go.
That's why I was asking you. She's like, hey.
Listen, I work part-time at best. I'm good. My schedule can be free tomorrow.
Well, I guess you have it there, folks. I guess we're going to be hitting the road before too long. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for listening to From the Ashes on About Face Media. You guys are the best listening audience on the planet. Really appreciate you being here. Keep sending things to us. If you have somebody you want us to have on the air, keep sending them our direction. If you have someone that you want that's to not be forgotten, whatever the case may be, send them our way. You are the best listeners, and you keep this show. We may tailor it to you, so thank you so much. Rock, got anything else for the crew?
Nope, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. See you next Monday. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here.